Hello and good evening on this very first day of December. You're watching APTN National News, and I'm Sav Jonesa. Nova Scotia Eskasoni RCMP have charged a 21-year-old man with 10 child sexual abuse and exploitation material offences. Earlier this month, police responded to a report that a man was causing a disturbance at a home and learned the man tried to gain entry to see a youth. The police say he began a relationship with the youth last September, which started online. Police arrested him at his home in Listuguj First Nation, where they seized an electronic device. He is in custody and is set to appear in Sydney, Nova Scotia Provincial Court on December 16th. RCMP believe there may be more victims and are asking anyone with any information to come forward. The Mi'gmaq Listuguj Police Department has opened a missing person file for a 32-year-old man who has been missing for over 2 weeks. Listuguj Mi'gmaq Nation is located in Quebec across the Listuguj River from Campbellton, New Brunswick. Dylan Barnaby was last seen in the evening of Friday, November 14th. He was wearing blue jeans, white sneakers, a dark black-blue jacket, and a white winter hat. Barnaby also wears prescription glasses and has tattoos on both forearms. He may be driving a 2019 gray GMC Sierra, license plate AGT43X, that is missing the rear tailgate. Police say Barnaby's family and friends are concerned for his safety. Anyone with any information is asked to contact Listuguj Police Department at 418-788-2003. Today, the search of Winnipeg's Brady Road landfill begins for the remains of Ashley Shingoose. She is the last of 4 First Nation women to be searched for following their murders more than 3 years ago by a now convicted serial killer. The 30-year-old mother of 3 was murdered in March 2022 by a man targeting First Nation women at shelters in central Winnipeg. Shingoose was from St. Teresa Point on Chinanu Nation in northern Manitoba. She was named Mashkade Bijaki Ikwe, or Buffalo Woman, by Indigenous community members, while her identity remained unconfirmed for 3 years. DNA found confirmed her identity in March of this year. Another victim, Rebecca Contois, was the first of the 4 women to be found when her remains were uncovered in the Brady Road landfill in June 2022. The Prairie Green landfill search for Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron yielded results around 3 months after it began this time last year. The federal government has announced funding to train some Indigenous communities in Manitoba for jobs within the mining and critical mineral sector. 3 projects will be funded by a $540,000 investment in hopes of building capacity and economic growth in Manitoba. The Manitoba Métis Federation will receive up to $300,000 to develop skills for 150 Red River Métis citizens interested in a career in mining. Musagagan Cree Nation will focus on training and workshops for mineral exploration in their region with $141,000. The Thompson Regional Airport Authority will also receive almost $100,000 to test emerging technologies like drones and automated vehicles in the north. Altogether, Canada says the total investment is expected to create 6 jobs and maintain 2. MMF Minister Jack Park says the federal government is definitely starting to work with Indigenous communities when it comes to resource extraction projects.
It's been long overdue. We've said for years and years in our history is that we're people of the land. We're stewards of the land. We want to protect the land. We want to ensure that there's a future, not only for our youth, but for generations to come. So absolutely 100%, it's a good starting point, but there's more to do yet.
There's 3 drilling companies right now in Moose Lake, Musaigan. So we tend to get our youth out there. So they're doing the training now. So hopefully in the future we're going to have our own drilling companies.
The territory of Nunavut says they are making progress toward eliminating tuberculosis by 2030, and a new drug can make treating the disease even faster. But as Justin Hardy tells us, one of the biggest hurdles in eradicating the disease is the stigma surrounding it.
In 2025, Nunavut had 4 ongoing tuberculosis outbreaks. Those in Panarctic and Pond Inlet were declared over earlier this year, according to the Department of Health. The 2 others in Arviat and Nariat are considered under control, according to Nunavut's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Ekwa Ejimang.
Those who had the active TB disease, who were infectious and could be spreading it, we've identified most of them and treated them. And we are screening for people with sleeping TB to also treat so that they don't get TB in the future.
Ejimang says that there are a number of factors contributing to the spread of TB in Nunavut communities, from overcrowding to food access. But she says one of the biggest issues is the stigma surrounding the disease and the fear of even getting tested.
Because of the historical, trauma of TB sanatoriums, where the ships will come around and people were asked to get on and didn't get a chance to say goodbye, so we're just taken away to TB sanatorium down south, and so, unfortunately some people never return. That stigma and fear is still very real. And so what we are doing now is trying to get identify TB early, because once the infection is identified early, it can be treated in community and people don't have to leave.
A new drug may assist Nunavut in eliminating TB. A second phase clinical trial of sorfequilin shows that a regimen including the drug could help reduce treatment time to about 15 weeks. Normal treatment of active tuberculosis could take anywhere from 6 to 9 months, and latent sleeping TB could take 3 to 9 months to treat. Ejimang says that any drug that reduces treatment time is a game changer, but the other biggest factor in successful treatment is avoiding reinfection.
It's not even just about finishing treatment and it's done, but then the determinants of health that would make another person who has just completed treatment be infected again with TB in the next year. Those are the things we really need to be working towards.
Nunavummiut experiencing coughs for more than 2 weeks, fever and night sweats, loss of appetite or weight loss, coughing up blood, or being more tired than usual are encouraged to get tested at no cost at their local health center. Justin Hardy, APTN National News, Iqaluit.
And with that, we move to our first commercial break of the evening. We got lots more coming up, so stick around. Panarctic Vision 2025 came and went this weekend. As Justin Hardy tells us, the event celebrated traditional and modern culture from around the Arctic.
Panarctic Vision, named after the popular Eurovision competition, aims to connect regions and cultures that circle Canada's North Pole. In total, 9 acts were competing for one of 3 top prizes. Many contestants combine traditional and modern performance to really show off their region. Among the performers was Nunavut's own Shauna Sitinak, who performed her song, Healing. Despite being relatively close when viewed on an Arctic-centric map, most of the performers had to travel a long way to get here. Some traveled for more than 30 hours. Director Amin Sholay Sven says once everyone did make it to Iqaluit, the welcome from the community has been exceedingly warm.
Yeah, we have had invitations, absolutely. We've done some short hikes, but we've been working a lot inside here, of course. We took all the artists on a bus ride around town. I know some of them have been out hiking today even. And before, earlier in the week, with the crew, we came a bit early, so we also managed to go on a short hunting trip.
There were 3 categories that contestants were competing for. The winner of Most Arctic Song was Sena from Saco Republic. Her performance featured traditional mediums like throat singing, drumming, and a mouth harp mixed with modern music. Icelandic punk band Gedbre took home the prize for Most Revolutionary Song. Bassist Austadish says she's glad to see the competition split into multiple categories to better encapsulate the Arctic.
To have something with community, the most Arctic, which is most traditional, and then the revolutionary, because this is a very political event, and we're proud to have won that category.
Linus Johnson of the Sápmi region in northern Norway won for song that gives the most feeling of community and togetherness.
I was a little unsure if that my song fit those three categories, but it did, and now won. That's very fun, very fun.
The night also saw the decision on where the 2026 Panarctic Vision will be held. The next host region will be the Faroe Islands, located between Iceland and Scotland. Justin Hardy, APTN National News, Iqaluit.
The Assembly of First Nations kicks off its Special Chiefs Assembly in Ottawa on Tuesday. Bill S2, the second-generation cutoff, major infrastructure projects, and child welfare are among the items up for discussion. Joining us now for more on what she would like to see accomplished this week is AFN National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Neepanak. National Chief, thanks so much for joining us. A lot of big items to discuss over the next few days. You'll have the CEO of the Major Projects Office and others to talk about these massive infrastructure projects in the so-called national interest. Do you see these projects announced as divisive among chiefs in Assembly?
Of course, we've got a busy agenda and many resolutions to discuss. The Prime Minister will attend, will take questions, and discuss, have a conversation with chiefs in Assembly and First Nations in Assembly. Ministers from all parties and members of Parliament from all parties have been invited to talk about the legislative agenda. And of course, we will be calling on the Prime Minister to honor his commitment to reintroduce the First Nations Clean Water Act. We'll also be pushing on the Prime Minister for public safety in First Nations communities. Policing as an essential service. I know that those are tough conversations to have, but they're so necessary because First Nations communities, a lot of them don't have access to proper policing services and safety services in their communities. Also, we will be updating chiefs on the historic $23 billion settlement that we negotiated with Prime Minister Trudeau in 2023. Regarding the discrimination that happened towards First Nations in the Child and Family Services Program. That's been a big rollout on that. And, so far we've got 88,000 claims that came in. Wow. Close to 300 million has been paid out on that. But we know that it's closer to 100,000 people that should be applying. So why are we missing people? And there's that conversation to be had. Where are the rest of these folks? Are they getting the information on time and the communications? I don't know, but I feel like we have to do a further reach out to make sure people are applying that should be applying. Even if they think they don't, they should apply anyways, because we're missing so many people.
You mentioned a lot there, but I know there's also going to be an update on the child welfare reform. The federal government needs to present its national plan to the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal on December 22nd. What are your hopes there?
Well, we pushed really hard. The Assembly of First Nations pushed really hard during the budget process here. I know that the budget wasn't anything to champion for First Nations. There's been cuts right across the board in every industry across the country. But we did push really hard to make sure that the $47.8 billion is still there as these discussions continue to happen. Look, we've come through residential schools, day schools, a 60 scoop, now the child welfare system that's kind of taken its place. And we have a long way to unravel that.
What would you like to see achieved at this special assembly? And what's your message to those who feel little is accomplished at these meetings?
The assembly always holds the government accountable, and they're really tough on and it shows the relevancy. The Prime Minister's coming this week. There's so many ministers that will be attending the Assembly of First Nations this week. There's, everybody knocking at our door trying to get in and on the agenda, but we only have so much time as well because chiefs want time for resolutions. It's the first time ever that a finance minister will be coming to the Assembly of First Nations. He'll be addressing the Assembly on Thursday afternoon. And was it Thursday morning? Thursday morning, I believe. But so it's so necessary, and to those people that be united, and let's work together, and let's try and make the best that we can. And we look back for the history of First Nations people, and we see people rising in a good way. We've got doctors now, lawyers, we've got NHL players. And that's because of the strong leadership in the past that pushed us up and made sure that our young people are getting more and more opportunities. And we have a long way to go because there's still so many people suffering out there.
Well, it sounds like we can expect a lot of engagement this week. National Chief, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. That is AFN National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Neepanak.
Mi'gmaq, thank you.
We will be bringing you lots of coverage on the AFN Special Chiefs Assembly, so make sure to tune in throughout the week. One last break now before our photo of the day. We'll see you soon. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. It's the 1st of December and there is more and more snow in the forecast. Rosanna Narcisse caught this photo of the sun breaking through the trees over a snow-covered ground. Send us your Winter is Here photos to share at aptn.ca for the chance to be our next photo of the day. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. On Tuesday, it will be 1 in St. John's and Charlottetown, -15 and sunny in Kuujjuaq, and -10 in Happy Valley Goose Bay. It will be -3 and snowy in Montreal, -5 in Quebec City. Sault Ste. Marie will be -1 and -3 in Ottawa. Thunder Bay will be -3 and -12 in Big Trout Lake. Churchill -25, -9 in Norway House. Barons River -6 and -4 in Winnipeg. -1 in Regina, 0 in Saskatoon. It will be -23 in Stony Rapids and -8 in La Ronge, sunny. -14 and sunny in Fort Chipewyan, -2 in sun in Peace River. 0 in Edmonton and Lethbridge, +1 in Red Deer. It will be 6 and foggy in Vancouver, 0 in fog in Bella Coola. 3 and some sun in Prince George, -7 and snow in Fort Nelson. -13 and sunny in Old Crow, -8 and sun in Watson Lake. -23 in Yellowknife and Wauti, -14 in Norman Wells. It's sunny in the north, -15 in Sax Harbor, -11 in Tuktoyaktuk. -21 in Will Cove and -28 in Cambridge Bay. It will be -19 in Iqaluit and -23 in Resolute. Like many teams in the Professional Women's Hockey League, the Montreal Victoire opened their 2025-2026 season this week. At the heart of their home opener win, a standout Indigenous player. APTN's Kim Sullivan went to meet her.
Oh my, and Laura Stacey cutting through. That sets up Abby Rock. Abby Rock comes in and scores!
This first goal for Abby Rock in a Victoire uniform ended up being the highlight of the game.
I actually don't think I've ever tried that in a game or practiced it, and I don't know why I decided that was the moment. And honestly, I was doing it, and I was like, this is stupid. And then it went in, so I got lucky.
Abby Rock is of the Winnipeg First Nation and grew up in an Indigenous community on the American side of Sault Ste. Marie. She began to play hockey at the age of 6.
I grew up with a backyard ice rink, so I'm a little spoiled.
Spoiled because her father was also a lover of hockey. Jim Rock was a coach when she was growing up and is now a professional scout for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
While he coached, I was always kind of addicted to the game, and if we had an off day from school, I'd probably show up with him at 8 a.m. and I wouldn't leave till 6 p.m.
Having no options to play on a girls' team, Abby learned the sport by playing with boys.
It's nice now that I can use what I knew from those years to play physical, to keep my head up. Like, I think a lot of girls who had never played checking aren't expecting to get hit as much.
Kessel draws, backdoor, they score! Abby Rock with their first of the game.
Her playing style and skills on the ice caught the attention of scouts, and she was the first Indigenous person to play for the United States women's national team, making her Olympic debut in 2022.
I was lucky enough to be able to make that roster and play in that Olympics, but it definitely means a lot. Like, representation is so huge. To be able to finally have somebody at that Olympic level was really important to me, and we can only hope that I'm definitely not the last.
Despite the added pressure, being a great role model is something Abby holds close to her heart.
You want to make sure that young Indigenous girls and boys know that if you put your best foot forward, you can end up here. You can be a pro. If you don't want to be a pro, you want to do something else, you can do it.
She also notices the love she gets from the fans, who are proud to see cultural representation on the ice.
I think most people, it's the one night a year, the Indigenous game. I know we have one this year, but for me, I do try to look around during warm-ups, and there'll be signs like, I want to play because of you, the different things like that. And when those kids come to the games, I can at least give them some piece of my time.
The Indigenous Peoples Celebration game against the Boston Fleets will be held on March 15th. Let's hope that it's as memorable as this week's home opener.
And she rips this one.
In the 4-0 victory against the New York Sirens, Abby not only scored a remarkable between-the-legs goal, but she also added 2 assists. One of her helpers aided teammate Marie-Philippe Poulin to become the first player in PWHL history to reach 30 goals and 50 career points. On top of that, Anne-Renée Desbiens recorded her first shutout of the season.
Denied by Anne-Renée Desbiens!
Abby Rock was named the first star of the game.
I think at the end it was really cool when I did the interview and the puck. I think that was really cool. Just hearing the fans and things definitely got a little emotional.
And that followed by another memorable moment in the dressing room.
I think one that kind of probably felt good to win that one tonight was Abby Rock.
We tip our hat to you, Abby. Kim Sullivan, APTN National News, Montreal.
We've reached the end of our newscast for this beautiful Monday evening. I hope you enjoyed the stories our reporters brought to you today. You can catch coverage of the Assembly of First Nations Special Chiefs Assembly during our afternoon and evening shows throughout the week, so make sure to check them out. Until then, I'm Sav Jonza, and from all of us here at APTN, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and take care.